I know everyone is expecting me to ask that question, but I mean, asking that question doesn't make sense, does it? You know what? I know what you want to ask him, yeah. So, Dillip, we are just on our own here, yeah. We are just friends.
Yes.
You know, in Turkey, we really encourage friendship. We really, and we really feel close to you now.
Very good.
I feel like I know you for long years. What happened to Ripple price? Why is it so down now? Is it going to go up? Really?
Is it a surprise? Well, you know, nobody was challenging me with this question, you know, in December last year, I can tell you. Look, you know, we think really, if I could answer that question to you and tell you what was going to happen tomorrow.
But I'm just, I know that you can't say it, but just whatever you can get from you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I could tell you anything, then I'd have to kill you. But you know, we don't want to do that. It would be very impolite. We just think that this is at the very, very early stage, and so obviously there's a lot of speculation. Certain countries are very keen on crypto in general. So Japan, for example, Japan has been one of our great success stories. We have 61 banks that have joined together in a consortium to use Ripple, not only for cross-border payments, but they actually want to use it for domestic clearing and settlement, which is quite cool because, you know, Japan has a very old system which is in dire need of change. But in general, when I visited Japan in 2016 and I met with the Bank of Japan, they were asking more questions about crypto than anybody else. So, you know, Mt. Gox originally, you know, Japan. So I think they have more comfort than any other country. And I think similarly, Korea has been huge in terms of take-up and following of that. But also that means there is a lot of volatility because of, you know, some news item, and then they go, let's dump it and, you know, take it up. I think obviously in the initial period, it was like, hey, if a Bitcoin can hit 20,000 and Ripple is at, I don't know, a few cents, there is upside potential. Our view is that ultimately the value of these assets is going to be determined by the use case. So the question is, what is the use case for Bitcoin? I don't want to challenge, you know, the market leader, so to speak, in terms of branding anyway, but, you know, who can afford to pay, you know, $15, $20, you know, to make a transaction? So the original idea of that being, you know, a currency for making trades between each other is probably gone with the wind. Ripple, we think, ultimately the price for transactions is determined by the folks in the consensus, and it is still fractions of a cent. So it's still the cheapest, it's still the fastest, you know, 3 to 5 seconds. We've done 35 million ledger closes, you know, since we began. Throughput of 1,500 transactions a second. So from all of those perspectives, it's a very solid, you know, platform. What we're using with banks today is something based on the interledger protocol because they didn't want to use the public ledger. But ultimately, when they use XRP for liquidity, that's when the two will converge. So from a use case point of view, we think we still have a solid platform, you know, a solid base as to what is the problem being solved. Is it a big problem? And who is ultimately going to use XRP? And in our case, we think it's going to be financial institutions, it's going to be market makers who want to come in and play in that business. And it's a huge, as I mentioned, a $27 trillion you know, base that is there today. So if you go by that, I'm not selling my XRP.
Like $2, $3 soon? No, just kidding.